Come on, man. I really don't know where to begin with this. I just don't. I really didn't even have expectations about the event, but that doesn't mean that the event should be so middle fingered to the max that there's no defending it. Yeah, I'm just going to get right into it. These are the results, my opinions, and maybe some rants about WWE Crown Jewel. Okay, they threw this match in at the kickoff, which is kind of cool, but then again, it's a title match at the freaking kickoff, and I'm not really a fan of that. Nakamura defends his championship, his consolation prize championship, and he retains. Rusev had him in an accolade. Nakamura gets out, and his head, he backs up in Rusev's nuts. And Nakamura pretends like, ow, it was an accident, and then he smiles. Kinshasa. Nakamura wins, he retains, and he's still United States champion. So the very first match on the card, Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton. Now, I thought that Randy was at least going to advance, but he didn't. Rey Mysterio, they kind of tried to set this up as a little Cinderella thing, which didn't happen, and I'll explain later. But Rey Mysterio actually beat Randy Orton by rolling him up after an RKO attempt. But right after that, there was an RKO, and Randy Orton attacks him after the match. And as soon as that happened, I was like, yep, I already know the next result on the SmackDown side, because there's no way that it could have went any other way. It couldn't have went to Jeff Hardy. So with Rey Mysterio battered, bruised, and wounded, we go on to the next match. So, The Miz tried to cheat with feet on the ropes, got caught, but still beat Jeff Hardy as a result, and there was no outside interference on there. So I will give that credit where credit is due, because that's what you need more of, and you need more to be a threat, but at least there was no outside shenanigans or some interference or some BS or an attack on Jeff Hardy before the match and things like that. No, I'm not going to try to say the excuse, well, he hasn't been the same since Hell in the Cell. No, not going there. It was a clean victory. Even if you try to cheat, and if you do it alone, that's absolutely fine. At least you do it by yourself. But, and don't have any other wrestlers doing it for you. Don't have your wife handing you objects and don't have the wife do work for you or things like that. Anyway, The Miz, he wins, he advances. Now, let's go to the Raw side. One thing I forgot to mention is that every time someone was coming out, they would go through their title history, or if they were a triple crown champion or a Grand Slam champion or not. The funniest thing about Bobby Lashley is that he is neither one of those things in WWE. He is a former United States champion, a former ECW champion. Who really cares about that? Because it's not the real ECW. It was that WWE ECW stuff. Yeah, I like the Phoenix title, but it wasn't the original ECW. This is the original ECW replica belt, not the new one that they came out with the black outlines. But anyway, Bobby Lashley. The funniest thing about him being inserted into the tournament was, as soon as he was the only person in the match that didn't win the world championship in WWE. He's pretty much the only one. And it showed during the match. Seth Rollins actually beat him clean. There wasn't any interference by Lio Rush. And thank goodness that there wasn't. Now, I thought that at least Bobby Lashley was going to advance, but he got vanquished. Or I thought Bobby Lashley was going to destroy after the match, which didn't happen either. So Seth Rollins, yeah, he hit that curb stomp and he advances. Next Raw match. So with Seth Rollins advancing, there was no way that Kurt Angle was going to. I just wanted to know how he wasn't going to advance. Dolph Ziggler beat Kurt Angle clean. Now, there's no doubt about it that Kurt Angle is older and he's slower and he's not in his prime, but it didn't take a lot away from the match. It was a pretty good match. Drew McIntyre was lurking about, but he did not interfere in the match, which made it cool. Dolph Ziggler actually did it by himself. He actually did it clean against a very game Kurt Angle. I picked Kurt Angle to win this tournament, or at least get far in it, but him being eliminated in the... Let's look at the people that were eliminated in the first round. Kurt Angle, Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton, and Jeff Hardy. Maybe a couple of those I would have called, but a couple of those I thought would have advanced at least. So this puts a tournament at odds from the get-go. And as soon as I saw these results, I was like, okay, they're making a path very easy for one particular person. And I was getting pissed by the minute. But enough about that, and let's move on to more matches of the event. I actually thought that the Big Show was going to be in the match for some reason. I thought that was announced on SmackDown Live or something like that. But it was the New Day versus The Bar. Not The Bar Show. But it pretty much was The Bar Show, since the Big Show actually hit a freaking knockout punch and then Big E was... yeah. It wasn't a bad match, but I knew it wasn't going to be the greatest, and I knew that the New Day wasn't going to get it back. If they would have hot potatoed it back to New Day, it would have really made no sense to me. I liked the New Day's entrance when they came in on a float, and it was freaking a flying carpet as a freaking like a parade float, and they were coming out and dancing and throwing pancakes. I thought that was pretty hilarious, but the Bar actually retained. Now, who is going to challenge the Bar? Who is up next? What? Is Anderson and Gallows going to be next? We haven't seen them in months. Who else is there at this point to challenge the Bar for these championships? And at Survivor Series, is it going to be the Bar versus Ambrose and Rollins? Or is that clash going to happen at Survivor Series? What's going to happen there? Because usually the champions from one show go against the champions for another, and they've already been setting that up. So what's going to happen in the tag team situation? So you had a wounded but a very game Rey Mysterio going against The Miz. Now, as soon as that attack happened on Rey Mysterio by Randy Orton after their match, I was like, yeah, this is an easy path for The Miz. And I was afraid that they were going to do this. I was afraid that SmackDown Live was going to have the easiest path as possible for the one person that just can't get it done in the ring convincingly and like a serious threat, and we can't take him seriously. But they did that. Rey Mysterio was still game, and it was still kind of looks like he could actually win the match when he actually hit the 619, tried to splash from the top rope. Miz puts his knees up and then rolls him up because Rey Mysterio's gut was damaged through the prior match and on this match. But anyway, The Miz advances to the finals, and once again, I was not happy about that and getting pissed by every freaking moment. Okay, look, this result surprised me. Especially the way that they went about it. I thought since The Miz advanced, I was like, okay, Seth Rollins is going to win. He's going to advance, and then he's going to get jumped by Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. And then it's going to be Miz and Rollins, and injured Rollins, still game. And then Dean Ambrose was going to come out and interfere, giving The Miz the win. That didn't happen by any stretch of the means, and I was very fucking surprised. Dolph Ziggler wins this match. Drew McIntyre interfered. But again, no Ambrose. Ambrose wasn't even there. He didn't show up. His music didn't hit. He didn't interfere or anything like that. And I'm like, huh. So you're going to have Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz in the finals? I really am shocked about that. But it wasn't clean. It wasn't clean, but as far as me being satisfied, I was like, okay, we're going to have a heel versus heel in the main event as far as the tournament. Because usually they don't throw in that type of monkey wrench. But then another type of monkey wrench was thrown in, and I'll rant on that in a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. I didn't think that Samoa Joe was going to win this match. I just didn't. I picked Samoa Joe countless times against AJ Styles, and none of that happened. It just kept being AJ Styles, no contest, AJ Styles. So that's pretty much it. Samoa Joe gets beat once again by AJ Styles. So, AJ Styles is one of the two people that will be facing each other at Survivor Series in the champion versus champion match. I wonder who the next participant is going to be. Rape me, my friend. Rape me. This is when the pay-per-view went downhill. It went so fast, it had no brakes. It just kept speeding up, going downhill. So, Baron Corbin comes out because he's the acting general manager for the show. And Brock Lesnar comes out, Braun Strowman comes out, the introductions take place. Corbin holds up the Universal Championship, shows it to both participants, goes to leave the ring and whacks Strowman in the back of the head with the championship and orders the referee to start the match with the bell. F5. Strowman kicks out. Another F5. Strowman kicks out. A F5 that goes out of the ring. Brock Lesnar tries to count out Strowman. Strowman makes it back in the ring. Another F5. I'm like, this is ridiculous, man. Strowman still kicks out and mounts little itty bitty offense for the monster among men. You're telling me that the belt in the back of the head and a couple of F5s were really going to stop this guy when hardly anything from Roman Reigns could even stop this guy? So, it took about 5 F5s and a whack at the back of the head with a damn belt in order to beat the monster among men, and Brock Lesnar is once again Universal Champion. Why? Why the hell? So, you just had, his reign was, I guess, over 500 days. Brock Lesnar's. He hardly defended it. He was hardly at the show. And now you're going to give him back this belt. He better not keep it for the next 2 years to wait for Roman Reigns to kick leukemia's ass to come back and win it. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do, WWE? So now it's going to be Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles at Survivor Series, champion versus champion once again. Last year it was the same shit. So you couldn't do anything different. You couldn't have Strowman versus Joe. You couldn't do it any other way. Seriously, you had to give it back to Brock Lesnar instead of the monster among men. Look, I am not hearing this. I am not feeling this result. It is ridiculous, and it only gets worse from here. So, I was expecting Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz, and Drew McIntyre to give Dolph the win. So Dolph could be best in the world, and The Miz has no place on SmackDown Live anymore. Happen? No. Drew McIntyre is ordered to leave. Shane O'Mac actually comes out, and Baron Corbin was already out there. So you got the acting general manager and the commissioner out there for this matchup, because, of course, the women couldn't be out there. What's kind of interesting is that Renee Young was actually commentating during this event, but maybe it was because she was sitting with a couple of guys. But anyway, you have the nerve to have The Miz attack Dolph Ziggler after they send Drew McIntyre back. And during this attack, when Dolph Ziggler is flushed out of the ring, The Miz actually leaves the ring, jumps from apron to the ground, and basically, quote unquote, injures his leg or knee or whatever. You're telling me that we're supposed to take this guy seriously. Now, of course, he wants to continue, but apparently, according to the referees or whatever, or the doctors or people that were checking on The Miz, he couldn't continue. They're about to award the match to Dolph Ziggler, and Shane O'Mac was like, it's not going out, it's not going down like that, I'm going to take his place. As soon as that happened, I'm like, ridiculous. So wait, if Shane O'Mac loses, does he no longer have a place on SmackDown Live? I thought that, but Corbin interfered by pulling Shane O'Mac's foot, leg, whatever, and then he sent out. He sent back. Long story short, Shane O'Mac hits the coast-to-coast on Ziggler and actually wins the match. So Shane McMahon is actually the winner of this Best of the World tournament. So all that for nothing, WWE. All that for nothing? You're telling me that out of the 8 participants that were in this match, not one of them could win it. Okay, I would not like to call Miz the best in it. You know what? I can't even finish that sentence with his name in it. I just can't. But Shane McMahon had no freaking business being in this tournament or in this match or whatever. They were about to award it to Dolph Ziggler. That would have been at least more acceptable, and Miz could have freaking beg and plead to keep his job because he didn't actually lose or he didn't actually wrestle or anything like that. But you went the way of adding Shane O'Mac in this match for no apparent reason to take them. And let me tell you, this Tuesday on SmackDown Live, The Miz better not say that that's his trophy because of the substitute or Shane taking his place. That better not freaking happen. But my biggest rant about this was the way they went about all of this. You're telling me that The Miz didn't want to get in this situation because, again, if he would have lost, he would have had no place on SmackDown Live. So Dolph Ziggler, wait, they were sending Drew McIntyre back. And The Miz attacks Ziggler, injures himself. See, he injures others, he injures himself. Come on, people. We're supposed to take this guy seriously. No, just... And Shane O'Mac wins this. You couldn't give it to Kurt, Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley actually would have meant something. Kurt Angle would have actually meant something. Seth Rollins winning it, I've never seen. No, champions usually don't win tournaments that way in WWE. You're oh, goodness. Jesus. I don't understand. You couldn't have Orton to get a title shot next after he won this. Maybe the winner of this match would have gotten a title shot. But again, you go of the way of the dodo here. You go the way of stupidity. You give us a stupidity Scooby snack, and you're expecting us to and eat it up. You're expecting us to fucking do that, WWE. No, I'm not fucking doing it. This is stupid. It is very stupid that you would think that everybody would accept this, WWE. I don't accept it by any means. This throws the tournament and pretty much the event out the freaking window. Stupid WWE. No, I don't accept it. And a mountain-sized dick inside of you for trying to make me. I picked the Brothers of Destruction to win this match, but I guess I underestimated the power of Triple Bitch and the Nose Triple Bitch and Heart Bitch Kid. So he comes out of retirement for this match, and they get out of a pair of tombstones, hit super kicks and pedigrees. Yes, there are other moves done in the match, but that was basically the gist of it. And a super kick on Kane and a pedigree, and then the DX actually wins, and basically that's the end of the freaking show. So look, WWE messed up this event just by that being the main event. You have DX versus the Brothers of Destruction in the main freaking event. You couldn't have either one of the championship matches like Joe versus Styles, the better of the two main championship matches. You couldn't have that as the main event. Seriously? Just Jesus, I don't know. You know what? I'm done ranting. I am very freaking done ranting about this event. I want to know what your opinions are about me or end the show, please comment below if you're on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, set up those notifications. This was a middle fingered event. It started off okay. I was very confused about who was winning the tournament. And then when it gets to the finals, they just scrub everything. They throw all the hype, all the good situations, all the good outcomes that could have been. They threw everything out the freaking window. You have Lesnar as champion again, which doesn't make any sense. AJ Styles is still champion. Okay, I'm all for good long reigns, but it's like, okay, who's going to take the championship from this guy? And you have Shane O'Mac. Shane O'Mac as the winner of this tournament. You have DX win. Anyway, if you're on Spreaker.com or on Apple's iTunes listening to this, once again, thank you for joining along. But this is just some garbage that no one can make it. Look, if you can dare make excuses for this, please comment below if you're on YouTube or leave a message, something, because I would like to freaking hear it. Drop kicks, body slams, throwing motherfuckers over the top rope, both feet hitting the floor. Yes, I'm a wrestling fan. This is the theme, and the theme is go. Credits.